Welcome to the third video of the holiday program on the history of Alfons Zeileis. In the first video, we looked at the psychology of crowds, and in the second, the theory of power. This video deals with the topic of anti-Semitism. In the previous video, we learned about the Jewish philosopher Hannah Arendt, who went into exile during the Nazi dictatorship. We continue with a quote from Hannah Arendt from 1941. But one is only safe from anti-Semitism on the moon. She entitled the article, which appeared in the magazine Aufbau in New York, Ceterum censeo. Ceterum censeo is the beginning of the Latin phrase Ceterum censeo Carthaginem esse delendam. In English, incidentally, I am of the opinion that Carthago must be destroyed. With this sentence, the Roman senator Cato requested the destruction of Carthago at the end of every speech around 150 before Christ, even if the speech dealt with a completely different subject, which the Romans eventually carried out. Out of 500,000 inhabitants, 50,000 survived. Unfortunately, this type of repetition still worked in the 20th century. Mass murders have been taking place for thousands of years, either against ethnic groups or members of religions. The procedure is always the same. A dominant group in a society assigns ideologically characterized stereotypical negative characteristics to a group that can be classified using simple characteristics. In this way, this group is differentiated from its own dominant group. Now the power of dynamics of the last episode comes into play. The dominant group uses its power to deny the classified group its rights, and ultimately denies the humanity of this group. Exclusion, discrimination, and, depending on the circumstances, murder and mass murder can be the result. How were Jews viewed in the German Empire? The first question must be, what was the definition of a Jew? With the founding of the German Empire in 1871, Jews were given equal status. They were Germans of the Jewish religion. Just like any other religion, Jews lived their faith more or less intensively. This did not put an end to anti-Semitism. Germans of the Jewish faith still experienced restrictions. The German Empire largely denied them access to court and government offices, the higher administration, the diplomatic corps, the academic world, or officer positions in the army. In other countries, such as France, Jews were naturally officers in the army. In the German Empire, Jews converted to a Christian religion partly because of the better career opportunities. This was discussed controversially in the press. Some saw it as a step towards assimilation, others as pure opportunism. The Prussian court preacher Adolf Stöcker founded the first anti-Semitic party in 1878 under the name Christian Social Labor Party. Arthur de Gobineau had already put forward the theory of an Aryan master race in the 1850s, albeit without anti-Semitism. Research since the 1970s has shown that the visible, distinguishing characteristics that the racial theory claims are caused by very few genes. The variations of each characteristic within the human species go far beyond the alleged racial boundaries, which proves the arbitrary character of racial theory. In 1881, the national economist Eugen Dühring created the standard work for the anti-Semites of the time with his book, The Jewish Question as a Question of Race, Morals and Culture. In his opinion, the Aryan race was destined for world domination. The Semitic race was its rival, destined for inferiority, which nevertheless still ruled over the Aryans at that time. He was the first to speak of a so-called, attention, quote, final solution. Finally, in 1899, Houston Stewart Chamberlain was the first to call for the, quote, purity of the Aryan race against mixing. Emperor William II personally read his book, The Foundations of the 19th Century, to his children and recommended it as teaching material for the cadet school. Countless racist and anti-Semitic writings and books appeared in the 1920s. The Ceterum Censeo of anti-Semitism was at work. Do you remember Hannah Arendt in the last video? Terror is an end in itself in totalitarian rule. If necessary, enemies are invented that have to be eliminated. Well, the National Socialists didn't have to invent enemies. The evil seeds of racism and anti-Semitism had long been sown. We have learned about three important elements of fascism: the psychology of crowds, the theory of power, and anti-Semitism. The next and final video to this holiday program will be about fascism.